David, I love you. Do you see me? A powerful jolt, restless sleep, turning slowly. A foggy sense of self ascends from the murky depths of dreams and our errant thoughts. A body rolls over for the comfort of a spot not yet tainted by human heat. A quandary that is frustrating and futile. Eyes start to open, unglued from the disjoining realm of suspended thoughts, blurry with unrecognition in a haze. Each finally opens as sleep, crusty and meaningless in its intent, allows a solution. The man glares at the gold ring on his middle ring finger. This damn thing doesn't work. David mumbles absently, intent on more sleep. The human gently rubs the cool, thin gold band, his fingertips feeling the slight, holy, ancient, etched inscription, as if some type of exotic braille. David turns the ring to the left ever so slightly, the smallest of motions. Quickly, a familiar sensation suddenly flows over the man's physical body, a warm bath that milk and honey cannot even compare. Sighing deeply as his hands start to tingle, David feels a gentle glow of ethereal energy making its way up to his forehead. His contentment and peace melt across his troubled brow. With eyes heavy from thought and dire need, the tired scholar considers to himself, "Not bad for 2 paintings and 200 life credits. Not bad at all." Thankfully, sleep quickly encloses the human's mind, like a cloudy thought, even as random worries dart across his consciousness. David finally settles in until all is gone. The human slips further into what is known in the present world as preternatural comfort, or ease as it's known on the gritty underworld streets. A sense of bliss and well-being provided by the divine energies now flowing through his spiritual being. Everything seems to be wonderful, possible in every way. The year is 3014 AD of our Lord. 600 years ago, man discovered God, the central energy of all creation, through a series of scientific experiments based on time and inner space, which is warp travel. It was all a mistake, a colossal, lucky accident, and humankind has not looked back. Through a mixture of mind-numbing advanced technologies as well as burgeoning cosmic consumptions of esoteric, earth-based, ancient mystical practices, the energy of all is now funneled, distributed, and sold to the highest bidders and thousands of galaxies. Everyday simple objects are now being infused with mystical, preternatural energies beyond all of our comprehensions. Many times these celestial energies are implied to dangerous levels that are not meant to be absorbed by humans. Spiritual consumption of this cosmic lifeblood in its spiritually dangerous, pure form often creates a blissful state that is highly addictive for humans as well as for many alien beings. This practice, as well-meaning as it seems, often creates beings that quickly become addicted to the overwhelming bliss. These addicts are called bliss junkies or holy rollers. In this advanced time, humankind has a direct understanding of God, a comprehension that could marvel past centuries. It was once considered the Alpha and the Omega, can now be infused into everyday consumer items like energy drinks and popular advanced technologies like David's personal holographic display system, taking the mystery from what once had man befuddled for centuries. These devices allow human and alien kind strength, indescribable psychic power, potential, and the most sought-after desired side effect that millions desire more than anything. That is immortality. In this modern age, God has been discovered and is now being sold on select shelves, jewelry stores, techno-colonies, and ethereal agents, and humankind is the better for it. This finally allows humans a way to comprehend infinity and eternity, not through ignorance and blind, flawed faith that haunted their species for thousands of years, but with options, a full itinerary, and as well as an agenda. Mankind's eyes and minds are forever open to the possibilities of it all. possibilities that have reached further than anyone ever thought possible. After some time, David's eyes move rapidly under the lids. The blissful charge in his body leaves through his feet, leaving a mundane normality that surrounds all of his physicality. The bliss is gone. David's body returns to its natural state within his second-hand, hydrochloric-equipped sleeping chamber, turning over on an age plasma mattress, the jail quaking under the slightest of his protest. Sleepy lips open, awakened finally. "Damn it," David mumbles. The cryo chamber the esoteric developer sleeps within has been used by many of his esoteric elders long before him, passed down. This is a long-held tradition in the esoteric community. Many elders in the community feel it is sacred to slumber in a place which one has more knowledge, or much more learned than you. It is said that one sleeps in a place of a wise elder, somehow that person absorbs their essence, hopefully furthering their spiritual studies. David always liked the thought, especially since his cryo chamber once belonged to a person that taught and loved him when he was a young academy recruit, making him the man that he is. The lying surface of the chamber is smooth and soft with synthetic technical silks that cool or warm themselves depending on the outside atmosphere of the chamber. David's plasma cell mattress has malfunctioned once again. Usually, plasma cell padding is equipped with body sensors for biodata retrieval. The sensors in David's mattress shorted out ages ago, making the support nothing more than a fancy gel mattress. Technologies like these are especially useful when a person is in a holographic sleep travel mode. Such in-depth personal technologies need a constant study of body vitals while in these vivid dream worlds. David rubs his eyes, barely awake. I could just call in, he thinks. Damn, I've earned it. I could tap on a sleep hollow of one of these buff dream cakes, walking on the beach of Sao Paulo. Rio de Janeiro, man. I would love that. He thinks as his heavy eyes grow light. The holographic dream travel is a popular form of relaxation in this advanced world. Beings don't just sleep in this day and age, they explore. As bodies recharge in a restful slumber, the subtle spirit body is well awake, taking on various adventures programmed by the cryo user through sleep sensors located in the being's personal holographic system. These sensors can adjust the immersive, intensely realistic images and surroundings, allowing a peaceful journey while asleep, enveloping the sleeper in a world rich in fantasy and detail. The esoteric scholar's fingers move as he makes his decision, touching lumpy, slightly uncomfortable areas in the gel padding of the cryo. The human finds comfort in this, always has, as if he's not alone in his need to understand the universe and its secrets like those before him. David has placed exotic cushions of silk and satin of his favorite hues, purple and tourmaline blue and ivory white, in a few of the places, making the sleep chamber cozy, more of his own. As fantasies of both cryo lovers float through the director's foggy mind, each flung away with determination, David finally peers to the ceiling. Time to rise and shine, David thinks reluctantly. More like rise. I'll shine later, he grins. The scroll architect slowly rises as he hears a familiar hissing sound. As the oxygen accelerator system of the chamber slowly comes to a gentle hissing end, they automatically cut off as the human rises from his cryotech padding. The top of the glass chamber resembles an earthly jellyfish or soft Vetuvian with chrome tentacles gently opening like a clamshell. As David's feet touch the cool faux marble floor of his high-rise flat, he stretches with that lazy early morning moan of thankfulness, glad to be up. His eyes adjusting to the darkness, David smiles. He is glad to be awake. Alone in the early morning, the scholar tries to remember what he dreamed about the night before. David had one of those dreams again. Vivid images filled with that same haunting voice that he's heard for a very long time. In this particular dream, he heard the voice again and again, sounding like a million waterfalls. A beautiful masculine voice. We will finally be one. I cannot wait. What does it mean? Damn broken cryo. David scowls. Screw tradition. Losing sleep with this beat-up piece of crap. The faint scent of ambergris and incense also floats around as David's feet tingle, blood forcefully rushing to the appendages, gripping the cold, hard floor. His hands and fingers are warming as well as he looks around, trying to make out things he's grown familiar with. God damn it, that damn Bruce. I've told him about meditating with all that damn incense. Oh, my allergies are gonna fuck up this morning. David grunts, annoyed. The scientist rises, shuffling to the lavatory for bodily function every human has done since the beginning of time. His eyes seem to become even clearer. Streams of urine leave his body, causing that typical age-old morning tingle and shiver up his spine. As a sleepy smile creeps across David's face, as he aims his string, he yawns, feeling as if the drowsiness of his body is draining away from him with the urine. The natural bodily sensation from David's body's tinkle, innocent and primitive as it is very much like the sensation one feels when first inundated with divine energy for the first time. What the human has just experienced, primal and mundane ignition of nerve endings and biological simplicities, these sensations can be multiplied 1,000 times when utilizing sacred technologies. Simple body precursors, ancient energetic idiosyncrasies that have been with humankind since evolution, these are all in high demand in this modern age. And with a modern market for amplified human experience, no matter how small or trivial. These basic sensations of the central nervous system are now top billing, especially when they're amplified. Many people paying hundreds and thousands of life credits to have these sensations amplified on command, anytime and anywhere. David shakes his meaty flaccidness till the last drop is free. Walking over to his chrome basin, the ever-curious esoteric looks into the mirror, glaring back at his own reflection with a sexy smile. Nah, stay there, he says, playfully touching the gray growing out of his goatee. His natural morning shift and shiver didn't necessarily bring him the immortality nor the face of his youth. The human smiles at such silly thinking, letting out a hearty laugh as he raises his hands, reaching for his ultraviolet teeth cleaner. There's a lot David has to do today, much to discover, as well as the dreaded meeting with an esoteric overseer. As the ultraviolet rays desensitize his teeth, cleaning David's back molars, the esoteric shudders once again. An eerie sensation starts at the top of his head, racing through his body to the soles of his feet, having him to shiver all over again. It's the same voice. I desire you. We will finally meet today. It's the same masculine voice, same one that resounds in David's head just like so many times before, echoing like 1,000 disembodied tones, speaking all at once, simultaneously in his thoughts, just like it's reverberating through his body. David stands back. He's kind of befuddled. The esoteric looks to himself in the mirror, glancing at flushed skin and frightened expression. David's mind is a mess. It's just a mess of questions. It has been for like the last 4 weeks. He must find out what this means. At first, the voice was very subtle. It didn't really mean much. But as his days went on and on, he's using the cryo chamber. Just over time, this voice has become familiar, but still very ancient, very alien. And it always comes about at the strangest of times. It seems so familiar, but yet so new and so foreign, and always making him feel eerie and sometimes scared. He must find out what it means. Each eerie message is like a bolt of hyper-reality, sending David into a sense of self that is daringly obtuse. And then it leaves, always with a scent of ambergris and incense. Suddenly a thought comes forward, a frail sense of logic, like another piece of the puzzle fitting together, hopefully. David moves from the stainless steel wash basin. "Sorry, Bruce," he says. "Joan will help. She'll understand whatever this is, whatever the fuck it is." With his insecurity restored as he thinks of his assistant and her sisterly understanding, the young esoteric elder smiles at the notion. He's heard this ethereal voice in his mind and soul for over a year now, each becoming more and more unsettling, real, louder, harder to ignore. David's heart knows it all means something, but what he does, no one has a clue. "A shower is what I need," the groggy, lovelorn scientist absently blurts out, feeding a rather fat tabby cat at his feet. Curiously, as if somehow reading his friend's mind, the chubby tabby looks up, as if he understands, and David suddenly feels a familiar presence in his forehead, as if a tingle behind his ears. The sensation feels as if he's not the only one listening to his thoughts, as if a void has been filled, connecting to something else other than himself. "What's wrong?" a small, posh voice asks. "Not this morning, Bruce," David replies, typing into his hollow, retrieving his schedule for the day. "Why?" Bruce emotes thoughtfully. "It's that damn voice again," is all that David will say. "How many times has it happened this week?" The cat telepathically quips. 16, the esoteric responds. "And all the times I get this feeling, it works as if I'm being watched. And even Joan connected a veil scan, and nothing happened. I don't know what it is," David says, walking over to his kitchen. Fresh coffee would be nice right about now. "You do realize that this could be some type of spiritual attack?" Bruce chirps with his small mouth, sending the thought perfectly to David's mind. "Have you ever had malevolent thoughts, anger from nowhere, a need to fight?" David smiles to the concerned fluffy cat. "Bruce, I know what a spiritual attack is. I am an esoteric director for the sacred primordial knowledge and spirits and all that entails." David snarks off, cutting Bruce's thoughts. Yeah, and do understand this. I don't need your advice on none of this." Yeah, I don't need your pedigree," the cat sends with a paw in the air. "Sorry, didn't mean to get all huffy puffy," the human says instantly, reaching down to tussle Bruce's fur. "I didn't mean to yell. And to answer your question, no, not at all. In fact, the feeling feels more like I'm meeting a lost friend, and it's felt that way for over 6 months. And somebody I used to know," David allows, turning to glance down to his animal delegate. He realized what he just said, and even then it sounds odd. "Then what's the problem?" Bruce chirps, flicking his bushy tail, an idiosyncrasy David has noticed since the cat was a wee little kitten. "It's probably just a mental flash with Julio." David's eyes playfully dart over. "Well, who are we talking about now?" Bruce purrs loudly, pawing the air. "Don't give me that, you bonehead. Your cryo dream induced thought." Bruce purrs loudly as he licks his paw. David laughs as he looks from his daily schedule. "My digital, that hoe over there? Really? Are you making fun of me?" "No, not at all. I just think it's quite funny that the only piece of tail you can get your hands on, well, doesn't really quite exist. Now, does it? Hold up, wait. Does accepting your dreams actually count in existence? It sounds kind of hopeless to me." Bruce emotes with a chirp. David giggles down to the sarcastic kitty as he sips black hot coffee. "That's hoe over there." My God, you are so awful. "Over here, over there, digital hoes everywhere," the sardonic cat chirps. "You know what, David? Let's just invent a whole muscle-bound harem for you to salivate over in your sleep. The boys' version of hoes over us." David is not amused, deadpanning sarcastic cat. So you're having a laugh at my expense. And by the way, that expense account called My Ironic Life, true comedy, I'm sure. You are well overdue. No more insider melodramatic as if you ask me. Bruce clicks, making his human friend laugh. Anyway, all this here, it's gotta stop. No more making fun of me. You told Hilda in Science Sacred Recovery that I have erectile dysfunction. You told Mark in Sacred Scrolls that my last boyfriend left me because I had really bad halitosis. And last but not least, you told Joan I periodically wet the bed. Dude, you really do have to stop spreading rumors about me. Bruce is in fine form as he usually is, so early in the morning. He jumps on the counter. Pooh-pooh. But the irony of your life is endless, and I will be making a withdrawal very soon. The tabby chirps. And I told Hilda that because I was trying to be compassionate. Her husband has a limp noodle. Heck, come to think of it, he is a limp noodle upstairs, too. David is shocked, laughing out loud. My God, see right there? You have to stop. Bruce doesn't care, pawing in the air. He has a point to make. And Mark, I was doing you a favor, which I never got inappropriate. Thank you for that. You realize he was being highly inappropriate. He's a career climber, and he only wanted one thing from you, and that was for you to advance his career. David's eyes glare up from his hollow. You told him my breath was bad, and that I made my last boyfriend nauseous with my bad breath. But why, David Nelson? Why? Answer that, old boy. Wonder, Sacred Scroll Whisperer? Why did I tell him? I told him to save you. The scientist looks up. So was that a compliment that you were actually trying to give me? By saving me, by basically trying to save me from this bad experience. Look, listen. I know you are very, very overprotective, but you have to mind your own fucking business. Oh, of course, Davy Wavy. You're the best ancient esoteric scroll reader and archaeologist to boot. By the Federation, of course. Hell yeah. The tabby says, pawing the air. And guess what? Mark knew that too. He was a user. He wanted to get next to you so he could advance his career. And I say this again. And I will continue to protect you and your interest, because I am your animal delicate, and your interest are my interest. David smiles warmly. He wanted to be part of the harem, huh? And not in a good way, Bruce meows. Time passing by, the scholar walks off. You know what, Bruce? I know. And thanks for that. I wouldn't want to disappoint you. But seriously, that would explain the voice in your head. The red tabby radiates from the next room. Nah, dreams and fantasies have nothing to do with reality. They're texts, for Christ's sakes. David informs, knowing exactly where the conversation is going. Well, if you weren't such a sex-starved, overworked shut-in, Bruce chirps with a flick of his tail, you could be losing your mind. David peers from around the corner. So you're saying I'm nuts? He asks dryly. Oh, sweet goddess. A peanut is? Bruce meows. What does that have to do with anything? Humor me. A peanut is, David? The cat telepathically emotes. A nut. A walnut is a... David looks dryly. A nut? The esoteric replies. David Nelson is a... The tabby chirps. David walks off down the hall with his cup of coffee. He is now officially agitated. Thanks for the support, Bruce. Thanks a lot, buddy, he relates sarcastically from his bathroom. Clearing his mind, a telepathic cue for the cat to leave his thoughts, David thinks about the day yet to unfold. I'm just saying, Bruce emotes, they have pills and therapy for your condition. David grins. You're not funny. Funny. Not in the least. Well, do you understand this, David? When that little voice repeats red ramen requires you to kill me and everyone else I'm living in legs, warn me first. The tabby chirps as David goes back into his bathroom. David turns with a snark. That expense account we spoke of just a few minutes, my ironic life, you're overdrawn and I'm about to repo your ass. he says, walking toward the shower. David, one more thing. Chicken livers. Catnip lace water, please. The cat radiates from a few feet away. David turns from the shower. A diet could be an option, buddy. Bruce hisses. Not funny. Bruce, not today, and no strange requests, the cat hears in his head. I've had too much on my mind without you banging about with your observations, requests, and advice, Skylar says from the bathroom. Did you just say that to the little voice in your head? To leave? To all of a sudden leave you be? Bruce chirps as he chuckles, telepathically. David walks back into the kitchen, allowing his shower to heat up, grabbing more toast and coffee. Acknowledging the cat's telepathic chuckles with his own, the kind and humorous human smiles at his morning antics, a surreal existence many of past ages could have never imagined. Because of the discovery of the divine energies of the cosmos, the God essence, and its rampant use through either consumption or close proximity of technologies infused with this mystical essence, everyday living in this futuristic world is very unusual. Connection and communication with all living creatures is now available to every human and alien being alike. Everyone is now on the same spiritual frequency, like billions of beings on the same radio station, all understanding each other in the most subtle of ways. Such communications are usually in the form of telepathy, especially with beings created without voice capabilities. Each mental message is imbued with the personality and the character of the creature emitting the message. Even after many years with his beloved tabby, as well as constant communication with other animal delegates from the Federation, David still finds this form of communication slightly jarring, especially early in the morning. Like all living beings, animals have a different understanding and comprehension of the universe. They actually exist in their own singular energy-based paradigm within Earth's dimension. Existences within existences, as it's called by older esoteric masters. The personal dimensions within larger dimensions, to be exact. This is one of the many unusual aspects of the universal intelligence that has been released since wholesaling the essence of God. David, our toast is burning. David hears in his skull, the agile cat jumping on the counter. Gimme. The charcoal is good for my teeth and claws. Bruce emanates while purring loudly, brushing up against David's arm, hoping for a falling morsel to gobble. Oh, God, die a horrible death. David chuckles as he grabs the toast from the chrome, old-fashioned replica toaster he found at a rummage sale. The scientist smears butter on the blackened bread, taking a bit in with a swig of black coffee. You don't mean that, do you? David hears as his teeth munch on the toast inside his head. The black and cracked wheat bread is bitter, mixing pleasantly with the bitter flavor of his black coffee. Yeah, I do, he laughs. With even more alert now, David diverts from the talkative tabby cat's telepathic onslaught of questions and morning observations. What are we going to do today? Bruce emotes, sitting on his furry haunches, expecting an answer. David peers from behind the connecting wall of the room and living area. Bruce, I'm going to say this one time again, and I really do mean it this time. Go away. Ready for the day, the scholar walks off, munching loudly, making his way into his digital wardrobe area. The wardrobe is a small room outfitted with intricate antiques and artworks from varied planets, districts, dimensions, and biocolonies. Everything is accented tastefully, with a glass dome, single hybrid orchid, bred in ancient Singapore some 1,034 years before. The beautiful orchid reminds David of the importance of natural beauty, especially in a world that is so high-tech. Lined with store-bought suits, shirts, night clothing, shoes, and uniforms from past garment materialization sessions, the walk-in closet contains a lot of memorable items as well, all created by various clothing apps from noted designers of the day. Usually, clothing from the materializer dissipates a few seconds after leaving the body. a wonderful app in line with a widely held galactic environmental law called Peter Leomon's apparel waste. David has created beautiful articles of clothing with several of his favorite apps, collecting each article in a wardrobe archive, like the replica of a floor-sweeping leather jacket circa 1878 AD that graces the space in the north side of the wardrobe. Clothing is an expression for David, as well as for many others in his modern age, even more so in this advanced time. Pieces like the dramatic leather jacket are stored and treasured instead of dissipating into nothing once they leave the warm skin. David walks further into his digital wardrobe, right as a series of floating plasma lights follow the direction of his gaze, darting here and there, silently highlighting each article as he looks at them. "You love me?" he hears inside his head. "Bruce, how high are we?" "About 200 stories. Why?" David hears in his head. "All right, you want to see if you can fly right now?" David hears no response as he taps his right arm, a personal holograph control panel appearing in front of him, levitating 3 inches above his skin. With a certain look in mind, the scientist types in coordinates for looks, fabrics, and styles. With his eyes maneuvering over each and every detailed design in a small, levitating green, translucent screen about the size of a sheet of paper, David scans several looks at once. The personal holographic implant is one of the most popular sacred technologies derived from God's energy. This simple but powerful device is utilized daily by billions across the galaxy, dimensions, biozones, and districts, from ordering food to programming functions in artificially intelligent homes and vehicles. The personal holographic system is a must for modern-day living in David's time. The simple 4-pronged platinum implant is used in all aspects of everyday 31st century life. This inventive, sacred technology works on the universal esoteric principle that in and around our vast universe is an invisible grid of incredible intricacies. This unseen spiritual grid connects one being to the next, even if these individuals are millions of physical miles apart from each other. This grid or dimension-scape connects all of us to each other in what is called an akashic escape, a spiritual primordial plasma that is 1,000 times lighter than even the air we breathe. This all-surrounding spiritual plasma is infused with energies that flow through all living creation at once. This essence allows spiritual assistance from higher realms, recording second-by-second life choices for later review during transition periods, as well as spiritual nutrient supplementation from physical environments. Many esoteric elders have theorized that even the Most High, the central energy of all creation, is also part of this essence that surrounds physical creation. The personal hollow, PhD for short, harnesses all types of energy-based knowledge from this akashic escape. The hollow then utilizes the captured energetic information from the akashic escape, combining it with an advanced technical grid that is implemented through the Federation, much like the cell phone grids of the 21st century. This knowledge is then funneled through a being's body and deciphered by a series of esoteric implants placed in every being utilizing the hollow. 4 implants on the lower left wrist to receive sacred knowledge, and 4 are located on the upper wrist to the right to send out knowledge that has been received, articulated, and then decided upon. To access the personal hollow, all one has to do is tap on the upper right implant and then simply think about what is needed. The information is then presented on a materialized two-dimensional screen that is of a greenish hue. The holographic screen usually hovers above the inner skin platinum implant on the right wrist that receives knowledge from the universe. This is where the user can activate and utilize information from all over the Federation, the whole of a vast world, in 4 small skin implants, each about the size of dimes. Usually first issued to all beings that become a part of the Federation, The personal hollow technologies are deeply integrated into 31st century technological society, making modern-day life in this advanced world incredibly easy and absolutely most positively convenient, almost effortless. Some say it's to track the whereabouts of billions of individuals, a modern-day version of Big Brother watching over all of us. Others feel that such techs are hugely beneficial as a whole, inventions that were designed to make our lives easier, increasing the feeling of connectivity throughout all the federational members, bringing everybody together, making a vast universe small and accessible for countless intelligent species and hybrids. Upgrades can be bought, very much like the app market some thousand years before. From turning your hollow, sleeping chamber into a scenic, restful vacation to instantly paying and upgrading your digital wardrobe with the latest and high fashions from New Paris, Ontario, New Milan, and New York Territory. There are thousands of upgrades for the hollow system. These apps customize personal hollows even further, accommodating every personal need that any 31st century federational citizen would have. David's personal hollow is customized more for his personal living, such as his home, travel, workplace. Nothing too fancy, as he feels life is really complicated enough. The human raises his right arm, tapping the skin at the top of his right hollow, right as the hologram panel materializes once again. The small screen shows views of garments and detailed miniature. David sees a design he really truly likes. He raises his arm. The scientist pushes or thinks the holographic image into a small, flat, magnetic surface directly in front of him. He can now view the design in a larger view, with much more detail. As the plasma light begins to twirl around and follow David's eyes, illuminating the full-size holographic design, each optically activated light source flows across the holographic image of the suit, highlighting sleeve design, center front, hem, and cuffs. David's eyes grow steely at the power suit he covets, masculine dark navy business tunic with sleeves. Yeah, that'd be nice. Perfect for meetings, esoteric snobs. He smiles. Yeah, that'll do. Especially for meeting those idiots. Oh my God, what the hell am I gonna do about today? He sighs. His attention is drawn to his doorway suddenly, esoteric grinning as Bruce glances over his selection. Take me with you to the office, the cat emotes. I want to be with you for support. Oh, those horrible eye gazers always get the best of you. You remember the last visit from Master Hendrik? You almost punched him in his mouth. Bruce thoughtfully radiates as he curls around David's legs, purring loudly. The esoteric nods as he types his hollow. Bruce, buddy, you're always welcome to be in my department as long as you don't bug me. You know that. The cat peers over the holographic fashion selection in front of him. Hot. I like that. It makes your butt look awesome. The cat chirps. David glares at Bruce with a smile. So now you're a fashion critic. Oh, and by the way, Cobron, no comments on my ass, please. Bruce walks over, emanating as he looks over his shoulder. Yeah, whatever, Dave. I just know what looks good on you since you have no type of fashion sense for yourself. Bruce turns to look at the preoccupied David. And also please keep this in mind. 21st century torn jeans and prefab dirty, smelly t-shirts are not considered fashionable in any time period. No wonder you humans basically almost destroy the earth. You can barely dress yourselves. The cat settles on his haunches, watching David, satisfied with his sarcasm. Oh God, Bruce, you are a fucking snob. You know that, right? He replies, looking up at Bruce. Hey, and the humans you were just talking about, they were light workers. These are great people. You know, not all of us wore three-piece suits. And as far as fashion sense, I picked out the suit myself. Give me some credit. You did not, the cat meows. It's a pre-program on your app from your stylist. The tabby cat chirps as he paws the air. David sighs deeply, tired of Bruce's comments. You know what? Not for nothing. Coming from somebody whose only garment is an all-over fur rug, nah. Keep your advice to yourself. Ouch. Oh, David, that stung so much, Bruce emotes. Fine. Next time you need advice, what to put on that hairless body of yours, I'll just keep quiet and watch you self-combust into a walking fashion inferno of irony and self-contradiction, the opinionated Tabby admits while walking away. Bruce heads back to the living area with a telepathic huff and a flick of his bushy red tail. David is left alone by himself, finally left to hash out through his thoughts. Thanks, that'll be freaking awesome. And you know what? I got things to do. Stay to yourself from now on. David looks in the direction of the living room. 2 words for you, Cat. The ruins. I'm sure some creature on Earth's reforested area surface would love to have you for a snack, and shut your pie hole before I decide to hand you over as a side dish. Capiche? Both telepathically chuckle at the sarcastic rich banner as David's attention falls back to his outfit for the day. The esoteric smiles to himself looking at his suit. Even if the telepathic communications are somewhat jarring, David does enjoy his relationship and Bruce's much-needed attention. The red tabby has been in his care for a very long time, actually a gift from an elder. In a world where animals are seen as direct conduits for all divine energy, some even holding political and spiritual office because of their divine knowledge, Bruce is a breath of fresh air. He's frank and callous, always loving and dependable, though. The red fat tabby is a true friend. He's honest and direct, and always reliable. Mr. Bruce, I don't care how common it is. Having your thoughts bombarded by a needy, four-legged agoraphobic is weird, dude. David blurts out, making his way to the shower. Bruce hears this as he flicks his paws. David, do the modern world a huge fucking failure and wash your hairless pink skin. Please, no one wants to see you naked, nor do we want to smell you. It is hella disturbing. 1 room away, David laughs as his foot steps into the bath and shower theater, almost slipping as his stomach chuckles. Bandy and hilariously inspired, the science leaves the shower back into the living area. He looks to the fat red cat. Bruce, I love you, buddy, he says with a smile, headed back to the shower. You should. No one else will love you, he hears in his head. The room that David walks in is sparse but well designed. The bathroom marble floor is a color of light blue marble with the veins of gold and silver, nothing really found in nature, but still attractive. David looks down at the design, a last-minute luxury from some years back. Sometimes the scholar imagines that he's walking on a blue morning sky, the marble veins resembling thin clouds between his toes. On the sink, the two stainless steel wash basins equipped with waterfall appliances, a toilet and bidet on the opposite wall, both made of marble, outfitting the most intimate room in the flat perfectly. For an added exotic tech meets nature touch, 2 beautiful mandarin orchids are on the counter, each thriving under their own plasma lighting. David steps into the 4-pronged shower to contemplate this meeting, as well as the identity of their interviewer, their actual function in the Federation, and why the surprise visit. As warm water hits his skin, releasing any remnants of drowsy from his body, the scholar can almost feel his mind become invigorated, thoughts forming quicker, his mood lifting to a slight hum. Feeling the water flow across his face, David smiles, as he always does. Best invention since air, he thinks to himself. Not really. Chicken livers are better, he hears inside his skull. Bruce, silent time, please, David says from the shower. Finally alone with his own thoughts, the shower jets stream, massaging his skin effortlessly. The scholar remembers strong points and views to bring up during his meeting with the esoteric rep. Oh, God damn it! David hisses. Why do they even have to appear in person? Holograms are the usual protocol. I'm not ready for this meeting. My job is depending on this. Why now? Trying to calm himself as hot water hits his scalp, David's head falls back as the hot spray of water seems to wash away all of his gloom. smiling under the soothing sense of solitude and peace. He feels Bruce enter his thoughts once again, bombarding, of course. "You're always so nervous, aren't you?" The cat emanates from the other room, rising on his haunches. David washes under his arms. "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. I feel it." Bruce radiates from the windowsill. David shrugs his shoulders. Maybe he is nervous. "Bruce, boundaries, buddy. I'm showered and I'm naked. I'll be out of the shower pretty soon," he thinks, feeling Bruce's imminence leave his head. David has to admit, the shower does feel wonderful. It's invigorating, almost liberating. But for some reason today, it feels like it's needed. After a wonderful shower minus the telepathic tabby, David feels like a new man, drying himself off with considering a new friend at the office, while considering a new friend at the office, maybe a love interest. The esoteric eyes his wardrobe, and right as Bruce skims by his moist legs, "Bruce, oh my God, your furry rug and my wet skin do not mix. Now I'm gonna have to get back in the goddamn shower. This is gonna get on my trousers." David runs off to the shower to rinse his legs off. "Not my problem. You'll figure that out for yourself, won't ya?" The cat emanates, plopping down on the open cryo chamber, bathing himself with his rough tongue. Nothing like water hitting the skin to make a man feel anew, David thinks to himself. As he walks to his wardrobe once again, the scientist keeps a steely watch out for Bruce. Standing nude and proud, his legs apart, looking into a wardrobe mirror, taking in his reflection, David is a sight for his age. Pure sexiness and a lot of hard work. My God. Round 2. I smelled man ass. Bruce emanates from the cryo chamber, dozing into a slight cat doze. David chuckles loudly as he looks into his wardrobe mirror. Dude, one of these days I'm gonna travel to a dimension where cats are eating on fucking popsicle sticks. I intend on leaving you there. Bruce's opens one eye, purring softly. Rolling over on his back, playing with his bushy tail, the red tabby purrs loudly. "And not if I can get you to a dimension of horny men fast. You'll be too preoccupied to even think about me." The tabby emotes, David smirking, turning to the playful cat. "Bruce, candor, it's too damn early. When is the last time you've turned down a brawny steel meal of catnip and fish cuts?" Bruce's eyes open while David is looking over. "Oh wait, never," chagrins the scientist. David looks back at his 33-year-old body while in full view as he looks at himself in the mirror. Tall and toned, a body that is sculpted by many hours in a liquid aquifer, along with the ancient art of yoga. David prefers the manual method of fitness versus the many technical advanced cosmic techniques available in his modern age. Parents this day. The body he's staring at is his own creation, one that is hard-earned. Every aspect of the human being can be chosen in this modern day and age, from eye color to hair color, even physical fitness. Humans are more designed than born naturally. Some even joke that people don't even have babies anymore. They design them while they're still in the womb. Not bad if I say so myself. David grins as he checks out his own well-developed biceps and thighs. Eyeing David while lying on his side, Bruce paws the air. "Now, with a nice coat of hair, you actually look quite lovely." David looks over to the fat red cat. "Yo, have you grown wings yet? I want to see if cats really can fly." He laughs. In this modern age, diseases, genetic anomalies, and racial homogenizations are taken care of through technologies that are accessible by any being, that can be accessible by any being verified individual capable of rearing a child. Some parents have even tried splicing human DNA with the genetics of other living beings, sometimes creating humans that are hybrids or zoological-based Homo sapiens. Oh, God, freaking weirdos, David says on his breath at the thought. Some of these beings are new species within themselves, bringing a new aspect of that specific race or species. This practice is often looked down upon by the educated of society, and its high cost prohibits its use by many. Specialists are needed in order to acquire the correct aesthetics in the potential human who will be born with animal genome. Bruce, how would I look with the DNA of a cat? David asks, still checking himself out. Well, actually, Davey, it depends on what cat we're talking about. If you're going to do a slice and dice with a sphincter cat, well, you just look the same. The fat cat chirps as he rolls over in the cryo foam mattress. David laughs. That's hairless sphincter cat, you overgrowth furball. Bruce rolls over, flicking his tail. I know what I'm saying. Those cats look like a cross between a nightmare and a frightened butthole. David laughs. You're an ass for that. Sounds like a conversation you're having with yourself. I, for one, would never come within 4 miles of you. Bruce meows loudly. Well, in that case, you know what? I'm about to make an appointment immediately, David responds. Tapping his right forearm as a dance of illuminated lasers gyrate around his body, back and front. David smiles over at his cat as Bruce watches with fascination. With an array of lights starting from top to bottom, each like a blazing, zapping zenith of brilliance, silk boxes begin to materialize around David's waist. Inch by inch, the laser light weaves silk as if from thin air, finally creating a set of black, silky boxes on the scientist's body. David stands still as another sound starts several feet away. The scientist closes his eyes, feeling the weight of the fine fabric materialize from nothing, inching down and around his limbs. The lasers start from David's ankles, and inch by inch, wool trousers materialize up his legs. Finally, a pair of finely tailored trousers replace the array of brilliant light that just outlined his legs moments before, all while the scientist thinks about his childhood. David grew up in a child colony, the equivalent of a 21st century orphanage, with an upbringing that was humble but very happy. The orphan sometimes experienced loneliness, for the exception of his rich imagination and drive to make a better life for himself. David eyes his now shirtless physicality once again. All the physical gains to his body are purely due to hard work and natural genetics. Very pleased, the scientist catches a glimpse of his eyes, a glimpse that kind of takes him aback. David moves in a little closer to the mirror, peering into his irises, looking deep into the light brown irises, studying his eyes with intent. Damn it. Freaking primordial glow. Man, I gotta cut down. This stuff is too strong. He nearly whispers, at least trying to, as Bruce purrs loudly. The glow is an eerie effect caused by an overindulgence in the celestial energies of the universe. The blissful intake of divine energies in amounts not meant for human consumption and physical understanding often leaves very subtle physical traces, and it leaves one alone in particular. David walks from the clothing materializer, hearing the whirring of the technology stop as he steps away. Well into the washroom, he's searching for a small bioplastic canister. The scientist turns around, glaring across to his cat. Dude, where are my lenses at? My contact lenses. Where you bid them? Bliss attic. David hears in his head. Oh, God. I'm gonna be an orphan. And you're a bliss junkie, turning tricks for cheap fix in some dog alley. The tabby radiates. David scowls playfully. Dude, no judgment, please. Come on, where are my contact lenses? The red tabby continues to pinroll as if laughing, having the time of his life. Oh my God, I'm already lost, alone in this world, the cat continues. No, David, walk back from the edge of destruction. Carol Ann, don't go into the light. David hears in his head, making him nearly giggle. Oh my God, dude, it's much too early for your Scarlett O'Hara routine. Cut the dramatics, fat-ass cat. Where are my contact lenses? All my life I had to fight my daddy. The red tabby starts. Bruce, contact lens case, please. The scientist looks around the corner, seeing the fat tabby sitting out in the doorway. We've had this talk before, David. You really do need to cut down. The cat radiates. Listen, I know I'm not your father figure. I'm just a companion, just an animal delegate. I know this, but you need to slow down with your energy intake. The cat emotes, flicking his bushy tail. David understands what has been emoted from his feline advisor. The lenses, please, he allows. Behind the orchid, where you last pit them, hiding them from view when you had over your friend last week. What's his name? Oh yeah, Mr. I Hate Cats. The red tabby makes his way to the sun-drenched windsill once again, right as David moves the glass dome of the orchid ever so slightly. And sure enough, he finds his light blue plastic container filled with saline solution and cosmetic lenses meant to hide his recreational habit. David slips each lens into his eyes, wondering how this addiction ever began.